This question was asking you to explain how randomisation could be used to produce word list A and word list B. They've, in the STEM, specified that there's a set of 50 words that have been identified and that you've got to kind of, you know, randomise these words onto these two lists. Now, in the question, it says how. So it wants you to explain the process of randomisation. How exactly would you create these two word lists in a random way? You can't just write randomly pick them because it wants to know how. So the first step is you've got to think of some container, some kind of, is that reciprocal? What's that word? Ignore me. Some kind of thing to put these words in. My suggestion is a hat. Just pick a hat. Like, you can pick a tombola machine if you really want to, and you can say that you're going to put them in the computer. I would advise against mentioning the computer, because the computer one, you've got to go into more detail, which I'll kind of get to in a minute. So let's start this off first of all. So you want to put, so write all 50 words. So I'm making specific reference to what's in the STEM. Write all 50 words on a piece of paper. On, maybe we should put separate pieces of paper. Separate strips of paper, so that people don't think you're just writing one word on a A4 piece of paper. And put them in a hat. So that there will get you 1 mark. That is the first process. And then you need to say how you are going to select these words and which list they're going to be put on. Now, you can do this in 2 different ways. You can either say, which is more complicated, you can say, I'm going to pick 1 out and put that on list A and 1 out on list B, and I'm going to do that until there's 25 on each list. Okay? Or you could do the really easy way, which is I'm going to draw out 25 words and they're going to be on list A, and then I'm going to draw out 25 other words and they're going to be on list B. Or do I really need to do that because they're what's left in the hat? So that'll get you next 2 marks. So then draw out or pick out, whatever you want to say, 25 words from the hat, just to be specific, and they will comprise list A. Then the remaining words will be list B. It's literally all you had to do. Now, if you were to pick the computer, you have to say that all the 50 words are going to be numbered, because computers work in numbers, they don't work in letters, that it converts it, so you've got to say that they're numbered. Then you have to mention that you have to set parameters for randomisation using a computer program to create 2 sets of lists. So 2, you know, 1 with 25 on. And then it mentions on the mark scheme about converting the numbers back into words to create the 2 word lists, because obviously computers work in numbers, not words. So it's well complicated. Just don't talk about a computer. It's just, you know, it's too complicated. So just go with the hat. That's like a really, really easy method. And you also talk about, you know, picking names from hats when we do random sampling. So it's the same kind of thing. So with randomisation, just think about a hat or some container to put them in. It doesn't really matter what, but you're getting a mark for mentioning that section. And that, a lot of people miss this bit out because they just say, oh, I'd pick 25 names from a hat and for list A and 25 for list B, but then they don't say how the words, in this case, I've seen names, how the words get into the hat. So you've got to specify that you're actually putting them into the hat first. And then you're getting 1 mark for mentioning the 25 words, because that's linking it specifically to the STEM, and also the list A. And then for the next one, it's 25 and list B. If you don't put the numbers on like that, then again, it's not really specific enough. There's got to be some reference. I mean, you don't have to do it twice, but there's got to be some reference somewhere that half of the words are going on one list and half of them are going on the other. But if you was just say to somebody, or pick half of the words out, well, how many is half, you'd need to know how many you were picking out before you got half, wouldn't you? So that's why it's important to specify that it's the 25, which is half of the 50. So there you go. That's what you get the marks for.